Sharia law has been the subject of emotive headlines through its most extreme manifestations overseas, but here its use on a more domestic level has brought its own call for regulation. It's thought there are up to 100 Sharia courts in England and Wales, judging on everyday family law issues such as divorce and wills. We've spoken to one woman, we've called her Sarah to protect her identity, who says she had a traumatic experience, and to the controversial judge who presided over her case. Fatima Manj has this exclusive report.
They are Britain's unofficial courts, often dealing with family cases, a voluntary service for those Muslims who choose to use them. Sharia courts have no legal jurisdiction and are unregulated. So just who are these judges running them, and are they operating within the law? Sarah went through a Sharia court process with her ex-husband to discuss custody arrangements of her children. She says she presented official court documents proving her former husband had been criminally convicted of harassing her and beating her child. But this was ignored by the Sharia judge.
I was in tears. I felt denigrated. I felt belittled. I consider myself to be quite a strong person, but really I felt I'd been violated. I had to convince him quite hard that the meeting shouldn't take place with both of us in the same room, because there was a restraining order in place preventing him from coming near me.
So this is where people can come to get a religiously sanctioned marriage or divorce. Now, it's not known how many Islamic Sharia courts exist in Britain, but estimates put it at about 100. And this one here in East London is thought to be one of the oldest.
After hearing Sarah's story, I decided to go and speak to the man who she said had been completely dismissive of her.
The gun crime.
This is Shaykh Haitham Al Haddad, not only a Sharia judge, but a prominent preacher who lectures to students around the country. Many of his controversial views can be found online.
What advice would you give to a sister that wants to marry a Shia brother?
The advice is clear, not to get married.
A man should not be questioned why he hit his wife, because this is something between them. Leave them alone. They can sort out their matters among themselves.
He allowed us into the Sharia court for a rare glimpse of where he works. We wanted to speak to him about his decision-making in general and the issues in Sarah's case while protecting Sarah's identity.
If you had a situation where there was a couple and you knew that domestic violence was involved, what would you do?
See, again, the word domestic violence is a very broad statement.
Okay, well, if you knew that a husband was beating his wife and you were made aware of that in one of your sessions, what would you do?
I said to her, it depends on what you want to do. You want to report it to the police, this is your choice. You don't want to report it to the police, you want to deal with it.
You don't think it's legitimate for a man to beat his wife?
See, I believe what is in the Quran.
No, I'm asking it because what is in the Quran is open to interpretation. You'll bring me your interpretation, another scholar will bring their interpretation.
No.
I'm asking you, do you think it's acceptable for a man to beat his wife?
Okay. The word beat has different interpretation.
The reason I'm asking you this is because you get couples who come and ask for divorces, who come and talk to you about their marital problems.
Yeah.
And if someone there says, my husband beats me, would you say to that person, this is not religiously sanctioned, what you're doing is un-Islamic? Would you say that?
Yeah, I have said this number of times.
I then asked him about Sarah's allegations that he ignored her ex-husband's criminal convictions and that he also tried to get her to sign over custody of her child.
This is utter lie. And I challenge you to bring me her case. Because if you bring her case, I will sue her for this. Because we don't do this.
Haitham Al Haddad is no stranger to controversy. He hit the headlines after the death of Osama bin Laden for writing in a blog entitled Advice to Muslims.
Osama bin Laden, may Allah have mercy on him. He died as a Muslim, and it is an established part of our Islamic creed that every Muslim, unlike the disbelievers, will eventually enter paradise.
He says he condemns all terrorist activities and insists he's been misquoted.
I think now any Muslim who is preaching Orthodox Islam will be seen as a hate preacher. All my opinions are nothing but the mainstream Islam.
So when you said, for instance, that Osama bin Laden will go to heaven because all Muslims go to heaven, are you saying that's a mainstream view?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Sarah says her own experience of Haitham Al Haddad has left her feeling he's not fit for the job.
He doesn't represent the majority of Muslim men. I've never ever heard or met a Muslim man who speaks to women the way he does. I'm shocked he's in that position of trust.
In fact, he says he's so good at his job, people are coming from all over Europe for his judgments.
We have cases from France, from Germany, from Norway, from the Netherlands, from Denmark.
Do you have any female judges?
No.
Why not?
See, we in the Islamic Sharia Council have to operate according to the Islamic standards. And the mainstream Islam wouldn't accept a female to act as a judge. And if we have that, if we have a female as a judge, then women themselves wouldn't accept that.
Except that we found a female judge. She runs a Sharia court in Birmingham, but is concerned that other places don't take the same attitude as her when it comes to women.
I think that people treat women like dependents, unfortunately, which was the case in history, not just in the Muslim world, in many parts of the world. And people don't understand our context. Our context, women are independent. They can often earn more than men, they can look after themselves. You treat men and women equally, and you have to understand your context in order to do that. And the Quran is for all times, not for one specific period.
I've watched a lot of your lectures, and in one of them you say, it is the nature of women, she enjoys the protection of man, she enjoys him being superior to her. Now that doesn't sound very equal to me.
It doesn't sound equal to you, maybe personally, but I have many scientific studies, many research that confirm that women enjoy this.
Although many Muslims may find Sharia courts a useful way of settling their family disputes, there are questions about the power these judges can wield and whether it's now time to set up a regulatory body to determine just who can become a Sharia judge.